Welcome to ADCO Aviation. I know it's been a while since I made the last video. I haven't forgot about my baby. Just had a bunch of excuses. We finally got our kitchen cabinets in, and then had two very strange weather conditions. Now don't forget, I live in eastern Texas. My daughter was visiting here from Massachusetts. Check out these screenshots from the same time. We were below zero, while in Boston, it was rainy and only 41 degrees. We had many visitors that needed our hospitality and time away from my build. We were truly snowed in and our lakes were frozen over. Anyways, we did enjoy the beautiful blessings that the Lord sent our way. Our gardens have exploded this year because of it. I digress. Mainly, I've had computer issues. Hopefully someday I'll upgrade to a new MacBook Pro and be able to make these videos a lot easier and faster. Not that it will help me get my plane built any faster, of course. Speaking of the Legal Eagle progress, I just wanted to make this short video to update y'all. I plan to build an engine from scratch someday, but I found this engine on the Half VW Facebook group in one of my second favorite places, southwestern Colorado, north of Durango, Silverton. So my wife and I planned a little vacation to pick up my full-cased Half VW engine. Matt was very generous, and I was looking forward to meeting him. We packed up the car for Colorado and headed out. We were about 30 miles from Dallas, and another fellow Legal Eagle builder called me from Florida. So basically I decided to turn east at Dallas instead of west. Thanks to both Matt and Cameron for meeting me on this engine. It has more horsepower with dual ignition. I'm excited to be moving forward. As soon as John gets my fuselage complete, I'll already have an engine to hang on it. Here's a video of my newly acquired engine while it was sitting on another Legal Eagle XL. Now back to the shop. One of the tips I wanted to share was on mixing T88. I'm using the bottom of an unopened soda can as a mixing bowl. It seems to be perfect for me. It's easy to hold on to and easy to set down and pick up as you're clamping parts together. I'll start with 4 or 5 lines of each part, then mix thoroughly as instructions say. Then if I just need a little more, you can squeeze out 1 line of each. Anyways, I just wanted to share this tip with you. You can wipe out the excess when done, and it's ready for the next batch tomorrow. I glued on the mounting straps and used bolts to hold them in place temporarily. The next day I removed those bolts and started assembly of the ribs to the spars. By the way, the clamps I showed you how I built in the last video worked great. The next day I glued all the compression struts in place. I just marked with a pencil their location, put glue on with a wooden stick and clamped. The next day I began the diagonals. First things first, I laid out all diagonals and made the metal brace for the brace under the fuel tank. The kit came with 7/8 inch square tubing, about a foot long. I cut it in half, sawed off one of the 4 sides per the plans. I then laid it out to get the correct angle. My advice is to cut it shallow, bend it, and then saw it again little by little till you get exactly what you want. Then you take it to work and have your coworker weld it up with a TIG. Thanks, Glenn. Well, that was easier for me anyways. I then painted it and glued the diagonal into the spot. We'll add the hardware after I varnish the wings. Little more on the diagonals. I watched Leonard's wing video and got confused on several minor spots. When I was talking with Leonard, he told me very plainly to follow the plans. The video is just an overview to get general ideas. One of the things that seemed to worry people is racking the wings to put in the diagonals. Well, I wasn't concerned about that. It'd take very little movement to do so anyways. However, what I didn't even have to rack the wings because I built it to the plans. Please don't do this without confirming with Leonard first. If he told me once, he said it at least 4 or 5 times. This XL wing is for heavier pilots and is built more robustly. Follow the plans. So I added the diagonal to the bottom of the spar, unlike the instructions in the video. I added 3/4 inch filler in the corner and added 1/8 plywood gusset on top. I also plan on adding a gusset to the bottom side for added confidence. Also at this time, I added the jury strut supports. Next, more gussets. I got out my sander and paper cutter and made all the gussets for the trailing edge. On the first day, I marked the center line and glued the bottom gussets in place. Next day, I glued the trailing edge in place. I waited a few days to make sure the T88 was fully set and sanded the edge to the correct shape. I used a belt sander to get the basic shape, then a wooden block hand sander, and finished it with a palm sander. I was worried about making this smooth, but it really didn't take long and was fairly easy. Just don't rush it. Take your time and it'll be fine. Once I was happy with that, I glued the upper gussets in place. I moved on to the front spar. I went ahead and cut out and sanded the nose rib template into its shape. I marked the front spar to the correct height based on this template and repeated the same shaping process as the rear trailing edge. I added the 1/4 inch stiffener to the aileron mounting rib as well as its support bracing. Then I rough cut out the 4 aileron end ribs, slightly larger than the template. I stapled a copy of the rib pattern to the top and bolted them together with a 1/4-20 bolt at the pivot hole and the last lightning hole. I'll bore that one out later. I then took this bundle to the sander and made 4 close to identical ribs, sanding to the line and checking fit to the actual ribs. I then bored out the lightning holes and finally took out the rear 1/4-20 bolt and bore it out to the correct size. Next, I sanded all 4 ribs and ready to mount in the wing. Then I began making the aileron pivot support blocks. By the way, I ordered the brass tube that we'll be using as a bushing from Amazon. It's listed as K&S Precision Metals 9/32 by 12 inch round brass tube. From what I can tell, this is what Leonard uses in his builds. The 1/4 inch bolt should just barely fit inside. I'll update you on the next video. That's about as far as I could go on this wing until I get the rest of the wood from John. It weighs roughly 22 pounds as is. Hopefully this will be fine. So I repeated assembly of other wing. It went much faster. It just took a long weekend to complete assembly up to this stage. I still need to put the leading edge on both wings and finish the ailerons on both wings. Hopefully I'll receive a call from John to come pick up the rest of my back-ordered wood or even my rolling fuselage soon. One last thing I wanted to share before I close this video down. After getting clarification on the plywood stiffeners at the mounting straps, I found out the bolts in the list of materials and my kit is wrong. They are too short, so we'll need to buy longer bolts. But that's small potatoes. I screwed up on my second set of spars. The first set was setting on the bench, the ribs installed when I added these pieces. And yep, I added them to the second set too. Imagine my surprise when I couldn't slide the ribs on. Yep, the plywood support for the strut in the middle and the plywood support at the end. So what to do? I chiseled off very carefully the ply support and sanded carefully. Then made new ones and glued it on after the ribs were in place. So the moral of the story And the tip for you, don't glue these on till final assembly. Once again, I wanted to thank Leonard, John, and all those that helped on the Eagler's Nest and Facebook groups for helping my dreams come true. I hope you enjoyed these videos as much as I have enjoyed the build so far. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons if you want to get notified of more of my videos in the future. Be safe and happy building.